is Strong, and today I will be discussing with you the importance of becoming a digital citizen through digital security. In looking at digital security, that will be the ISTE Standard 2.3, and that standard discusses how to model and promote management of personal data and digital identity to protect student data privacy. That aligns also with the Alabama Course of Study, Computer Science Standard 1, which is to identify, demonstrate, and apply personal safety use of digital devices. This standard was chosen because in my district we have had a series of breaches as well as in other larger and neighboring districts. And so I find this to be underrepresented as a standard when you're in the school setting, but I believe central office has more knowledge and is better equipped to make district changes. But it is my opinion that school leaders and teachers are not necessarily trained or equipped to make decisions that protect the privacy of themselves and their students. Digital citizenship is the norms of appropriate use of healthy behavior related to the use of technology, and that includes digital literacy, etiquette, and security. Digital security is the protection of personal information from theft or damage. And we often use things like passcodes. On our iPhones, we use Face ID. We use our fingerprints to log into certain devices, especially if you're part of the iOS ecosystem. But we have a series of measures that protects our digital identity, and students should also have those measures to protect their digital identity because they're so young. We use passwords, which is a secret word, phrase, or sentence that allows you to access digital devices, and then personal information. So that's any information that can make a person identifiable digitally. And what I found out through this research is that here in the passwords, your typical digital citizen will use 8 character passwords, and through that 8, it is easy for hackers to access your information because it's oftentimes your child's birthday or your birthday and your child's name or your children's name, a combination of those, as well as a numerical value that is representative of either your anniversary or your birthday or your child's birthday. And so 8-digit passwords are not secure, but if you bump your 8 up to 12 characters, they find it a lot more difficult to track and breach your personal information through your passwords. So digital citizenship is a very important term when it comes to teaching children and using digital resources to provide your best instruction. Now, what is digital leadership? Citizenship. Digital citizenship is a person's ability to safely navigate and access digital technology. And that means a person has the cognizance and the knowledge necessary to not overshare information or not relinquish information that could ruin not only their credibility but their personal livelihood. Digital citizens are anybody that uses modern technology. Digital citizenship is very important because in this 5 billion active use internet usage worldwide, it is important that we maintain decorum and conduct and promote a safe and respectful environment for all. Now, the biggest ways to become a better digital citizen is to stay informed, be respectful, and open to learning new ideas to protect yourself and those in your care. Now, there are 9 elements of digital leadership. We have digital access, digital etiquette, digital law, digital communication, digital literacy, digital commerce, digital rights and responsibilities, digital health and wellness, and digital security. These subcategories represent what digital citizenship is, and as we transition fully into Web 3.0, these rules, although they stay pretty firm, they are currently writing themselves, especially when it comes to things like digital law and setting uh, a legal precedence that protects students as well as protects yourself if there were a, a problem to arise. And for those of you that don't know, Web 2.0 was the boom of social media in the early 2000s up until the mid 2010s. And now we are in the Web 3.0, and that is where the users, yourself and I, have an experience that's autonomous, and that is, we decide the experience and how things like Bitcoin and even children buying things on Minecraft, how currency is traded, how we receive our information rather than the companies like YouTube, Facebook, Meta deciding how our information is fed to us. So as we dive deeper into Web 3.0, these 9 elements of digital leadership become more nuanced. Digital security. Digital security is the process to protect your online identity and theft. And I'm going to start right here where we talk about cyber criminals or hackers can access your protected personal information and cause major damage. Accessing personal information such as your medical records, your personal payment records, your social security, your email address, your personal phone number. These things are essential to your livelihood. They are your digital life. And without practicing proper digital security, a person can lose their identity to somebody around the world. So it's very important to stay abreast of what digital security is in its current phase. These are tips for staying secure on the internet. And this applies to not only yourself, but also to students. And we can make this applicable to students by modeling these behaviors in our classroom and communicating frequent expectations on how we use the devices. So first, we can keep your device up to date. Updates usually have fixes for bugs and possible viruses that are susceptible for hacks. Staying secure also means installing security software updates. As we get on public networks and servers, such as using the Wi Fi at Starbucks or using the Wi Fi in a place like an airport, that can open up threats to your personal identity. So we want to refrain from using those that are not on protected servers. Oftentimes, schools are hacked by sometimes even students, especially older students or students that are very technologically savvy. So, trying to stay away from public networks that a lot of people can use and make your information very accessible. Also, using two-factor authentication. So, if you're an iPhone user, that means using a PIN and using your Face ID, for example. Or if you are also part of the Apple ecosystem and you have the thumbprint on your MacBook, that is another form of authentication. Now, this means locking devices with strong passwords. And I know we like to use our first child's name or our last child's name, but we really want to refrain from using something that is predictable for a hacker, for somebody that unfortunately may do this criminal activity as a job, because it takes quick searches to find your personal information if it's not secured or if you have publicly shared that information on forums such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Now, these are ways to create a strong password. You use characters and symbols. Use longer passwords compared to a shorter password. As I suggested before, it's essential to use 12 or more to make your password stronger. If you are an Apple user, then you can use strong password software, and that can also be accessed by your students if they have a login. Refrain from using personal identifiers, words, or passwords, and this is where we can sometimes have difficulty with students using their username or passwords because, one, if you're working with elementary students, they likely can't remember something that isn't familiar to them or a personal identifier. Or two, with elementary students, they struggle with typing. So we want to use something that is easy for them, but also isn't a personal identifier of their being. Using mnemonic phrases or sentences is a strong suggestion to protect your password and protect your identity. Trying to remember your password, and then use a password management system. And that means using an encrypted password login in the login system to protect your passwords. Remember these three important skills for keeping up with your password. Use a different password for every website. Do not share your password with others and change your passwords often. As stated before, making sure that you're keeping track of the passwords that you're using so that they're accessible to you and also so that they're not hacked. Now, these are resources I found when completing this project. And first, there's Interland. Interland is a great resource to teach students digital citizenship, and it is a free online game created by Google that teaches students digital citizenship and how to be safe online. I played through it, and it really was a fun and engaging game. If you have students that are younger, I found this to be more catered to them. And another student friendly resource was Password Protect, a digital passport. So this was created by Common Sense Media, and it offers 6 interactive multimedia games for students to learn how to become good digital citizens. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.